podcast. It looks like it's supposed to be going. Let's see. It says excellent. Moderator helps. Okay. Close. Chat. Hello. All right. Let me check on the YouTubes on the zone to see if your team sucks. Live. Let's see how this sounds.
On the YouTubes on
Sounds good to me.
the zone to see
All right.
if
That is started. That is ready to go.
your team
I know.
sucks.
Except now it's still playing the YouTube. There we go. Okay. That, and then I'm going to start Audacity. Here we go. That is also recording. So, all right, take it away. Did I miss something? What are you? Why are you so excited? So on Friday I was at the dentist office with my daughter getting her wisdom teeth pulled. Is that what you're talking about? Hmm. Hmm. It was a very long time ago. I don't know the answer to that. Welcome to Your Team Sucks, the podcast. I wrote a song. Actually, an app called Suno wrote the song for me. And I just typed in 3 sentences. Write a song with the chorus that says Your Team Sucks, the name of our podcast. Write that the Eagles suck, the Cowboys suck. The Eagles have 2 Super Bowls and the Cowboys have 5. And even AI made fun of you for only having 2 Super Bowls. So there. Sure, one of them was this year and you're great and blah, 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 whatever. Yeah. What have you done lately? What have you done for me lately? It's all about lately. Mm-hmm. In the What have we done? That is a great question, to which I don't know because we haven't done squat. This is really tough. Yeah. Oh, look at that. He's got confetti and everything. I heard you were the one that threw the beer can at Howie and hit him right in the forehead. Is that true? Corner Pub Sports. Okay. Yeah, that much more intense. Yeah. Look, I would die for a Howie as a GM. The Cowboys have some GM with the last name of Jones, and it sucks. It sucks. It really does suck. So yeah, no, because but yeah, but it's the truth. Oh, with some letters on it, LIX. Is that what it is? That's a long time. Like the Cowboys had with only 3 X's. So the 30th Super Bowl. It's now 59 years into the Super Bowl, and you finally got your second one. Whatever. Yeah, it took you. Right. Mm-hmm. NFC championships, blah, blah, blah. This century, blah, blah. But what were you doing for the first 52 years? For the first 52 years of the Super Bowl era, what were you doing then? Not winning. Yeah, 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 yeah. Uh-huh. This century. It's all about this century. It's wonderful. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? I can 3D print 5 Super Bowl rings for the 5 that the Cowboys won. I don't need your silly little one that just says 2025 on it. Who cares? They did. They had nice rings back then. Yeah, they didn't have to have as many diamonds in them as the Eagles have to have this year because they're all self-conscious. Oh, it's our second one, so we have to fill it, make it look really big and stupid and whatever. Ours were simple, nice, plain. I mean, you saw Troy Aikman. Oh, he says I can't hear Mike. What the heck? Oh no. All right. Let me turn. Yeah. All right. I just turned you up. Jay, can you hear him now? Oh, now you're loud in my headphones, but that's okay. If we can hear you, if Jay can hear you now. Yeah. You're not really. Thanks, Jay, for. We were. Yeah. It's confusing me. Yeah. That you're talking. Huh. Just say something else right now. Like you're coming through on Audacity, but you're not coming through on the OBX. Jay said not really. All right, let me do this. Now go ahead and say something. No. Okay. Yeah, because audio input. He says can't hear him at all. Let's try this. All right. Oh. Okay, now say something.
How's this?
Go ahead and say the alphabet.
A, B,
Yes.
C, D,
Jay, you can hear
E,
him now, right? Saying the alphabet.
F, F, G, H, I.
You're totally peaking now on the audio mixer on OBS, which you weren't doing that before. So I have a feeling that you are now coming through, and it's just taking the YouTube 15 seconds to hear it, and then Jay writing, and then 15 more seconds for it coming back. Let's see. Any time now, we should get another comment from Jay. And then we'll just start the whole thing all over again. Let me stop this. I can mute this also. I don't need that. All right, Jay said perfect yes. Okay, good. All right, well, take 2. Let's try this one more time.
We're going to start from the beginning again?
Yeah, because, Jay wants to hear all the babbling that you're going over about how awesome your Eagles are. And,
Okay.
And I don't. But, whatever. This is what I do for the team. All right, so let's do this. And then let's rewind. There we go. The Cowboys riding high on their 5 rings of gold is what it said. That's right. All right, here we go. Let's start all over again. This is now recording again. And Jay, you should... How about them birds, Jay said. All right, go ahead, Mike. Start doing your Eagles cheer, blah, blah, blah.
Eagles, go birds.
Did I miss something? Why are you so excited?
Maybe. There was an event Friday. Started Friday morning pretty early. Did you hear anything about it or possibly attend?
Are you talking about my daughter's wisdom teeth being pulled? Because that's where I was on Friday. There's no way I would be anywhere else except for there on Friday. Why? Where were you?
I was at a party with me and over 1 million of my new friends. It was also known as the Eagles Super Bowl Parade. Did they even have a parade the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl? I mean, was a parade even invented at that point?
Look, it was 1995 season, 1996. It wasn't 1896. Jay said, I thought a sneaker was on the microphone. That's why I couldn't hear you. Yeah, there were parades in 1995. I don't even care that it's this decade. Blah, 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 whatever. Let's hear the intro song.
Your team sucks. The Dallas Cowboys suck. The Philadelphia Eagles suck. Your team sucks. The Dallas Cowboys suck. The Philadelphia Eagles suck. Eagles flying low with their not so shiny too. Fans still screaming, but they got no clue.
They got no clue.
They love to squawk, but they can't hold the line. Living in the past, acting like they're prime.
All right, welcome to Your Team Sucks.
Living in the past is interesting.
I know.
Well, this is like a whole week ago.
It was a week ago. I mean, at this point, we're on the baseball season, buddy. Pitchers and catchers have reported. We got preseason coming up now. Nobody cares about the NFL anymore and who won, whatever. This is Your Team Sucks, the podcast where football rivalries are at their finest and tempers are always flaring because the Cowboys are going to do it next year. Next year is the Cowboys' year. I'm your diehard Cowboys fan, and trust me, I've got a lot to say about America's team. Go Cowboys.
Yes, and I'm Mike, the one and only Eagles fanatic who's here to remind you that I root for 2 teams every week. The Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles
Only twice.
and the loser under 500 Cowboys.
I like that you root for the loser under 500 Cowboys. Thanks for rooting for them.
Whoever's playing against them.
Whoever's playing against them. All right. Buckle
Well,
up.
at this point, I could even root for them. It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't
They're so
matter.
bad.
No, we stink. Whatever.
They're
Buckle up.
$60 million quarterback.
Look, it's really tough being a Cowboys fan this year. It is so tough. Buckle up because we're diving deep into the rivalries, the stats, and everything in between. Whether you're wearing silver and blue or green and white or black with an LIX on it, we promise you'll get an ear.
Oh, this here?
Oh, this latest Super Bowl t-shirt. Yeah, that there. Whatever.
Did they make T-shirts back when the Cowboys won?
They did. They were really awesome too. They were. I had an awesome one. It was a caricature of like almost the whole team. They had like little cartoon heads of everybody. It was great. I wore the crap out of that shirt, and then but that was 25 years ago, and then now it's in some junk pile somewhere. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't disintegrate to dust. With, like most things that turn that old.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It probably did. It probably fell apart. I did.
And by the way,
No, gosh.
woo!
Yeah, woo. Whoa, confetti. Whoa, I was at the parade. Woo. Whatever. Jay loved the song, by the way. He said, "Oh my God, that song." So it's going to be released on Spotify and everywhere you can get music. Actually, there's an app called Suno, and on Suno, it's an AI songwriting app. So I typed in like 4 sentences, and it came up with that entire song. The song's like 2.5 minutes long. We're not playing the whole thing for you because I don't want you to bore. Mike, you turn your camera down. All we see is your nose. Oh, you're looking at your shirt? Is that what you're doing there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, there you go.
Super Bowl champions. The shirt says Super Bowl champions, with the Eagles logo on it. I like every year that, you know how they have all the shirts made for the 2 teams before the championship game, whatever it is.
Yep.
There was a video of them shipping off all of the Kansas City Super Bowl champion shirts to some, I forget what country they were sending it to, but they were giving it to give out the to give out to all the people in that country because they don't know the difference. Corner Pub Sports said, did the Cowboys wear the Super Bowl in their leather helmets when they last won? Yeah, they had real helmets. They weren't leather. They had the plastic, whatever the Super Bowl patch. Yeah, whatever. No, they didn't put it on their leather helmets. They wore it on their jerseys. And the Super Bowl jersey year was actually a really cool jersey. So I don't care what you say. 1995 was a great year. I was 20-something. It was awesome. I had a great, great time. Now, sure, I'm 50 now, and it's not the same, but whatever, Eagles. I don't even care. I do like Corner Pub Sports, by the way. Sean, I got you all fired up on Friday night on your show because I wrote in and I asked this very important question. Cooper DeJean, rookie, had a great game, interception, for a pick-6 interception, no less. And I said, is he going to be like Dan Marino? Dan Marino, his rookie year was in the Super Bowl, and then it was all downhill from there. And I said, I have a feeling it's going to be the same thing for your man, Cooper DeJean. It's going to be all downhill from here. One Super Bowl his rookie year, thinking he's the man, and you guys never returned because, as we all know, next year is the Cowboys' year. Next year is always the Cowboys' year. Next year has been the Cowboys' year for the last 25 next years. It's our year is next year. So that's my soapbox. Yeah.
So So realistically, what do the Cowboys do to fix this?
Well, I mean, we hired the best available coach. Do you believe that? Do I believe that? No, I don't.
No, actually, that one was that was terrible.
No, that
we
was
talked about that this show.
Yes. And let's see. Since then, there's a lot of speculations on Facebook from everybody who wants to make speculations about what the Cowboys are going to do. They already have the draft. I saw one. It showed all the people that the Cowboys were going to draft. Running back, I forget the names of the kids, unfortunately. But
Alshon Gentry or something?
So running back in the first round, that's going to be great. And then I think
that worked out last time.
Yeah, it worked out real well last time. And then an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman in the next 2 rounds. So whoever made this chart did a really good job of thinking ahead and thinking the Cowboys need a little bit of something everywhere on the field. So let's get a good offensive lineman. Let's get another good defensive lineman. Let's get, I think in like the 5th round, there was like a wide receiver that they had listed. All these really, it was wonderful. And I know none of those are going to happen. He said Gentry, especially since he has ties to the Dallas area. So, yeah. So I would love all those things to happen. I unfortunately do not think any of them are going to happen because it's the Dallas Cowboys and we are dummy-dumbs heads and we make bad decisions. So...
yeah, unlike Howie, who seems to make all the right decisions.
All the right
that's how you win the
decisions.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, my
Did
gosh.
I mention that the Eagles won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, and it was close, though. I mean, it was really, really close. Like, Kansas
It was a
City...
game for the first 30 seconds.
For the first 30 seconds, it was a close game. I will say this. I was watching, and, when 10 years from now, when you look back in history and you see it was 40-22... you're going to go, oh, I mean, it was...
They kind of got blown out, but, it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was a blowout, but it wasn't. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't that bad. But in reality, it was way worse.
It was that bad.
It was
much
that
worse.
bad. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I could imagine you watching the game. I don't know if you watched at home. I don't know if you went to a party, but
I did not go to a party. I did watch it at home, and
you watched it, and you're just like, "Oh, this is gonna suck." Oh, this is really gonna suck.
And I think the Chiefs got the first turnover. I want to say
They did. Yeah, the Eagles were driving, and the Chiefs did get the first turnover.
and I was like, all right, this is good.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, the team that wins the turnovers is the team that wins the game. So I was like, good. Because I think the Eagles even scored. Yeah, I think the Eagles even scored first before they had the turnover. So I was like, okay, punt, field goal, touchdown, punt. Okay, but I was like, all right, this is good because we get the turnover, the Chiefs get the turnover, they score.
That's your adopted team because you can't root for the other bandwagon Cowboys. So,
no, I can't root for them. So I was like, all right, as long as the Eagles lose, I don't care. So they get the turnover, and then nothing happens with it. And I was like, oh, here it goes. And then the Eagles get a turnover, and it's a pick six turnover all the way back. And, Jay said it was over before halftime. It 100% was way over before halftime.
By the way, Jay, before we get too deep into this, Jay wanted to make sure that he gave a shout-out to Sneaker Boy.
Sneaker Boy. He said something
that's
about...
you.
Oh, yes. I was like, does he know somebody else who does sneakers? Yeah, I do a little painting sneakers on the side, and on Sunday and Monday I was painting sneakers for a friend. He wanted to give to his wife on Tuesday, so I spent the whole day. I was like 8 hours and this is all my fault. I mean, I've had the sneakers for a month, and I was just procrastinating, and then finally I was like, I can't procrastinate anymore. So I went up spending the whole day doing it. They turned out great. She got them today for her birthday. She loved them, so it was perfect. So, yep, I got that, and I did see a video. The guy was like, okay, Friday was Valentine's Day. Friday in Philadelphia was the Super Bowl parade. 9 months from now, there's going to be a whole bunch of kids in Philadelphia born with the name of Saquon. I was like, yep.
Cooper.
Yep. AJ, Jalen. So
yeah. Gonna be a lot of Jalen's.
Going to be a lot of Jalen's. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of kids born 9 months from now in Philly, with Eagles names. So I guess it's better than being named Espin. I still love the fact that there's like 11 kids in the world with the name of Espin, ESPN. I'm like, you named your kid after ESPN. But anyway, enough about that. So
why don't we go down? Why don't we break down like we have been doing? Why don't we break down the game and just go through the drives, I guess, from start to finish.
Yeah,
I did. So I hosted the game on Sunday. So I was a little bit distracted trying to kind of play host and my water heater went at the same time.
Oh no, that's not fun.
Yeah. Luckily it didn't completely flood out, and I was able to kind of get a new one before it became a disaster. But
okay.
I was, I had a lot going on. So I took off the Monday after the Super Bowl, which I was doing either way. I took that off months ago.
Okay.
And so they re-aired the Super Bowl, and I got to watch it again.
Again, for the first time. You were shocked.
Yeah. So I got to relive the all the plays and everything, and it was it was awesome.
It was a complete blowout. I will say that. Sean, your buddy TJ, yes, I've already had 4 other people ask me. In 2018, I made these plaques for the Eagles that said Super Bowl champions, and I've already had 4 other people send me text messages asking me. So watch my Facebook page. I'm going to make one, and I think I'm going to limit it to a certain number because the first time, I swear, I made 50, 60 of them. I was just day in and day out, just out in the garage, just having the machine run, carving away these plaques. They're cool. They're neat. So yes, I know a lot of people want a second one now for the Eagles' second Super Bowl. So I will do that. Probably that.
Are you going to do one with both of them? Get one with two?
That's what I. You guys can tell me what you think is better. Should I have one that just says like the last one, it said 2018 Super Bowl champion, and it had the Eagles logo in the middle, and then it had the Super Bowl logo on the right hand side for that year. I was thinking do a similar thing just like with this one, so that way you have the 2018 one and the 2025 one.
Right.
Or should the 2025 one have two of them? Because somebody before asked me, a Giants fan, to make one, and it was like their fourth ring, and it had all 4 Lombardi trophies in it. So I made that. I made one for me at one point. It was it said 5X Super Bowl champions, had the star in the middle, and then it had all 5 of the Super Bowl logos for the Cowboys. Do you think I should do the 2 logos and 2X Super Bowl champs, or should I just
I like the
do
2X. I like
Okay.
the 2X. I like the 2000. I like the idea of the Eagles logo and then like 2018 on one side and then 2024, 2025, whatever it is that you're kind of putting it as, on the other side with the 2 trophies. And then you could put Eagles 2-time Super Bowl champs or something like that. Something like that is what I would do.
Okay, I like that idea. I can do that. I can have 2 Lombardi trophies together. Yeah, I like that, one on each side. And I looked, the last ones I had, it said 2018 because it took place in February of 2018. I remember there was a big debate if I should write 2018 or 2017 because
Yes. Yeah.
technically it's a 2017 season. But the way the Super Bowl is listed, it was listed as the 2018 Super Bowl. So I was like, okay, I'm going with 2018. So yeah, I could do 2018 on one side, 2025 on the other, 2 Lombardi trophies, 2X Super Bowl champs. So all right, it's been decided. That's what it's going to look like, folks. So if you want
Nice.
a wood plaque like that, check out my Facebook page when I post it, and you can get on the list. I don't know. I'm not going to make as many. I had so many pictures of just like so many of them I made over and over again. I remember I met one guy in the mall. The guy was like, oh, I can meet you at the Moorestown Mall. I was like, okay. So I'm waiting at the mall with this plaque. I felt like I was doing a drug deal in the middle of the mall. Guy comes up, gives me money, I give him the plaque, and he just walks away. Like there's no chat or anything like that.
No, interesting.
He said he might want to look into leasing a building so he can continue to make them over the next 7 to 10 years. Nope, the Eagles are not doing it for 7 to 10 years, Jay. You are out of your mind.
I don't see why not. I mean, they're built to.
Yeah. Somebody's going to get
last.
hurt. The thing was the Eagles, like, look at last year. Last year, a lot of people got hurt. Other teams that are really solid, even like the Lions, who managed to do really well, even though they had a lot of hurt people. In the end, it's tough. I mean, the fact that Jay says I'll be busy. The fact that the Chiefs have been so good, so consistently, even with the turnover that they've had. The fact that the Patriots were able to do it the decade before for the entire decade. The fact that the Bills were able to do it 4 years in a row in the 90s. It's really, really tough. You get one injured main player and then suddenly everything changes, Just look at, not that Dallas was doing anything before Dak got hurt, but once Dak got hurt, it seemed like everybody just gave up. So I don't know. I think that's where 7 to 10 years of this, I don't see them being the next Patriots dynasty. But maybe 2 or 3 more years, I think. Sure, they're definitely going to be. And how many people are you guys losing this year? Do you know how many are leaving to free agency and whatever?
We got a few. I mean, we're pretty well equipped to run it back, but we are losing. There's a few free agents. I don't know if we're losing them all, but Zach Bond was a 1-year player. He's going to be a big free agent. Mikael Becton was the starting guard that we signed to a 1-year deal as well. We did have Tyler Steen, who we drafted, and that was supposed to take it, and Becton was probably going to be a backup. Becton beat him out, and had a phenomenal year, so that's tough. Brandon Graham, losing Brandon Graham's because he's going to retire. Josh Sweat, I believe, is a free agent, so that's a defensive end that's going to be tough to replace, especially since the guy that they got from the Jets didn't pan out. So, I mean, they still have Nolan Smith, who had a phenomenal year, and I think they still have I'm forgetting somebody
Okay.
else that they had as an edge, and maybe Milton Williams might be the other one. He's a defensive tackle that's rotational defensive tackle, not one of their top two, but so I mean, there's 5 guys that were key players.
Yeah.
Either rotational or starting players.
Okay.
They got a few guys that could step in, it seems, and then obviously they got the draft, and they do have a decent amount of cap money.
Okay.
And they're probably going to lose Darius Slay, but I think that they're well equipped to, and the cap, freeing up the cap money from that's going to be good as well. So they're going to lose some guys, but they got a little bit of cap room, so they're going to be able to replace some guys too. So it'll be shouldn't be too bad.
Okay, well that's good for you guys. I had a different question for you, and now I don't know. Whatever. Okay.
Did you see this too?
Oh, there. Yeah.
I got a sticker for my Yeti.
There you go. Look at that. A nice big Eagles sticker on there. Super duper. Go Eagles. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. All right, let's break down the game because it was a blowout. The Eagles did nothing but score, and the Chiefs did nothing but punt. So, first drive of the game, the Eagles get the ball, and they punt it away. 8 plays punted away. Then
that was an interesting drive. Just to break that down, that was they did get a first down. They got the third down, and Devontae made a nice sideline catch, got the first down. Then on the next drive, that was the one I think that AJ Brown caught a nice pass, and they kind of had a little bit of a weak offensive pass interference call against them.
Yeah.
And then they ended up punting it away.
Yep.
So that's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, especially with all the talk of the refs in Kansas City's pocket. The refs are doing this. The refs are calling the game to get Kansas City there. The refs want Kansas City to win. When you have that little bit of a passing interference, it wasn't bad, but it was also enough to be called. So I could see why it was called, but at the same time, it was a little, it could have gone either way. If they didn't call it, it would have been fine. Because they called it, it was also okay, whatever they called it. My other question, Kellen Moore leaving, the phenomenal offensive coordinator that you guys had, which came from somewhere, I forget where. Oh, Dallas. Is he taking any of the coaches? I know there was talk of a couple coaches going with him.
I think a quarterback's coach.
Okay.
He's went.
Okay, so you think that's going to affect you guys? Do you think Kellen Moore? I feel he did a pretty good job. I felt he was doing a good job on the Cowboys, but I also felt when he was with the Cowboys, he was very young, and I could see Jerry thinking, "Oh, I'll make him the next head coach," and I was like, I don't know. I think he's a little too young. He did leave. He went to wherever L.A., and then from L.A. he came to you guys. So he's got a couple more years under his belt. I still think he's very young to be a head coach. So it'll be interesting to see how much leeway the Saints give him and what happens when he's with the Saints.
So we talked a little bit about that, I think, on the Corner Pub show, and we talked about the fact that we do feel that he is he's a good coordinator. We're not thinking that he's going to do great as a head coach.
Right.
So to answer your question about, I do feel we're gonna miss him.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I do feel that's going to hurt a little bit. Jalen loses yet another offensive coordinator. He loses a quarterback coach again. The guy is every year seemingly has another coordinator.
Has a new coordinator every single year. It's got to be tough that way, especially when you're on a team that's good like the Eagles, and most coaches don't want to stay an assistant coach. They always want to move up to get to be the head coach, because that way you get to make all the final decisions. You're not bowing down to somebody else's decisions. So every assistant coach, I feel, wants to be a head coach, and then sometimes they get to be the head coach, and then they go, whoa, this is more than I bargained for, and then they wind up getting run out of a different town or whatever the case may be. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Eagles did hire a new offensive coordinator. Sean and Ryan were texting about that earlier. I didn't get a chance to look. I don't know much about him.
Who was Brian Dawkins is back for you guys?
No, I think that was
fake. Oh, okay.
I feel like that was fake.
Okay, because I saw that and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Sean said, despite being a Cowboys fan, were you rooting, in quotes, for the Eagles or the Chiefs? I think because I don't like the Eagles so much, I was actually rooting for the Chiefs, and I don't really care about the Chiefs winning 3 championships in a row and it never being done. That doesn't bother me. And I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago also. Like, I don't care that teams are now passing the Cowboys because they've already been passed for, more than 5 Super Bowls. I think the 49ers have 6 and New England has 6. Pittsburgh has 6. That's who it is. So I don't care that teams have one.
The 49ers actually have not won a Super Bowl since before the Cowboys. I think.
So then they might still be at 4 or 5, whatever they were at. I thought it was Pittsburgh and New England who passed the Cowboys.
I think that if I'm not mistaken, San Fran only has 4.
Okay. Yeah. So
the Eagles offensive coordinator is Kevin Patullo.
Okay.
Sean might know where he came from. I don't know the name, which shame on me, I guess, but yeah.
That's all right. Sean said, I'll tell Howie to re-sign Bond on Saturday. So I guess
he's gonna meet Bond for a what GM can actually have an autograph signing, can go somewhere and sell.
Yeah, which is crazy that a GM is doing an autograph signing, because I don't see, and nobody else is. But Howie Howie's just done an amazing job. I don't even think he was putting his name out there as much as the media was picking up on what he was doing. So that's how he became as popular as he did. So I don't know. When you keep filling holes every single season, people notice you, and then people are like, "Oh my God, I love Howie." So yeah.
Trust me, Howie. I think Howie is somebody that likes his ego getting stroked.
Oh,
Howie
sure.
seems like I don't know. There's something about Howie that
if you look at Howie, you can tell he's not a football player. He doesn't look like a lineman. He doesn't look like a wide receiver. So the fact that he is being able to manipulate the football team as well as he is without being a player, you definitely got to have a big ego, because I'm not saying he was the kid that was picked on in high school. Don't get me wrong, but
he might have been.
Yeah, but you got this guy. It would be like me. I never played football, but Howie's a good businessman, and Howie can see the cogs. He can see the parts that need to go together, and even though he doesn't, I don't know. Maybe at this point he would be able to call a play or two, but he knows. Okay, where are we lacking? What's going on? The guy on the right side keeps going after the quarterback. Who's that? We need to get a new one of those. We need to get somebody better than that. Boom. He's able to read, be smart, so he's able to know the positions, know where things are lacking, and then being able to fill those holes. And because of that, I can see him being like, look at me. I did all this, I did this.
Yeah.
I can't bench press. I can't squat 600 pounds. I can't bench press 320. But I put all these guys together and got 2 Super Bowls in 7 years, and we're in the Super Bowl 3 times. Yeah, I'd have a huge ego also. So
and he's also what was I going to say about him? He learned years and had tutelage under some other interesting GMs that did a fairly decent job, like Joe Banner.
Okay.
But he learned from Joe Banner, but also learned what Joe Banner didn't, where Joe Banner wasn't effective, and adjusted himself to be better than that,
Okay.
better than Joe Banner. Joe Banner kind of was, really good with the numbers and really good with, but he wasn't personable. He wasn't somebody that a lot of people seem to like. He was somebody that clearly didn't care about the players and clearly was in it just to manage the cap and
Right.
who put his head down and didn't engage with the players and stuff. And that didn't work well. It worked well with, in the beginning of signing players and doing some things, but it wore thin. And so what Howie did is Howie learned the shrewd part of it and the numbers part of it and everything, but then he realized that being personable and whatnot is important as well.
Yeah.
And he has a good relationship with all of the GMs around the league, although they do worry that they're going to get fleeced. You got to be careful with him. He apparently I read something or heard something an interview years ago where he just kind of walks up to people and hey buddy, how you doing? This and that. We got to make a trade this year. We're going to make a trade this year. We're going to make it happen and stuff. Let's talk later in the year. And he just says that. And the next thing you know, the guy's like, "What just happened?
What just happened? How did I get rid of my number one player and get a third round draft pick for him? What the heck's going on?" So
yeah, stuff like what happened with the Carson Wentz deal. That Carson Wentz been on like 5 teams, but now he's it turned into like Devontae Smith and Jalen Carter, like something crazy where they ended up getting all these guys out of it.
Yeah,
from flipping all these picks. So
yeah, that's awesome. So I give him mad credit. All right, so the Eagles punt, then the Chiefs punt right after that. Then Eagles get a touchdown in the first quarter. 9
so
plays.
They did score before the interception. Okay.
Yeah, yep. They scored before the interception. It was a 9-play drive, 27-yard pass thrown in there. And then Jalen Hurts up the middle for a 1-yard touchdown.
That was the tush push, or they don't call it that
because
Jalen Hurts made it clear on
Jimmy Fallon. That is not called that. Even
they didn't say what it was called, but it wasn't that.
Even though Saquon said he pushes the tush, his job is to push the tush. So that was pretty funny. So Dotson got a 27-yard pass.
Yeah, that was the one that they thought was a touchdown, and then they got ruled down at the 1-yard line, and we just said, okay, well, we get to do the tush push, which is fun too.
Tush push instead. Then Kansas City punts. Then the Eagles
That's when they got the interception.
That's when they got the interception. Jalen Hurts passes for Antonio Brown, interception by B. Cooks at the Kansas City 2, and then he ran it back for no gain. And then Kansas City, 4 plays, 1.5 minutes. They have to punt it away. Nothing goes on there. The Eagles get it back. They get a field goal. And then after the field goal, that's when kickoff, Elliott kicks it off, 4-yard sack for Mahomes. Sack again on Mahomes. And then Cooper DeJean, 38-yard interception for a touchdown. Pick 6 for Cooper DeJean. I will say this.
So you talk about a dominant defensive series.
Yeah.
2 sacks and a pick 6.
It was great. So
it was great. You were right. It was great.
Yeah. So here's what I think. Kansas City for 2 weeks was like, we have to stop Saquon.
Correct.
And they did a very good job of stopping Saquon. You guys even said it. Sean said it. Saquon is not going to be busting out a 65-yard touchdown. He didn't even – I don't even think Saquon had a 20-yard run the entire game. He might have, but if it was late, and it still wasn't that long. Maybe 20, but there was no big runs from Saquon the entire game. So
he did have a nice catch.
He did have a nice catch. But I think they were so focused on beating Saquon that they thought, if we can stop Saquon, we'll be fine.
The thing, and that's exactly how I thought it was going to go too. I said that, like, they're gonna put, and I think that everybody the same thing that Pittsburgh did. Go ahead and make Jalen beat you. Jalen can beat you with his arm.
Yeah,
he chooses not to because he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to.
It's better because it's effective to do this. But if you want to stack it and force, force them to pass, and he could do it.
Yeah.
And he had some back-breaking runs in this.
Yes.
So, the ones that, like, when you see the other team do it, you're like, oh, I want to fucking kill that guy.
Uh-huh. Because, like, they were so focused on Saquon. So Saquon would go left. It would be a fake handoff, and Jalen would go right, and then it was just wide open because everybody was jamming the box to stop Saquon. So then he just had these giant runs, and it was like, when you have a quarterback that can run and a running back like Saquon, it's so not fair because you can't stop everybody,
Yeah.
So it's like you're focusing on Saquon. You got to spy on either Saquon or Jalen, but you can't have two spies. You can't have one on both of them because then somebody's always wide open. So, so I think their whole game plan was stop Saquon, which they did. They weren't.
Yeah, and I think that the difference between somebody like Jalen and somebody like Lamar is I think that Jalen is just a little bit better of a quarterback. He has better weapons,
right,
for the most part. But I feel like Jalen just is able to make some of the plays. Now, this year it was tough because, Lamar actually did make the plays. His team let him down.
Yeah, and Lamar, as the season went on, we saw everybody did it, but Lamar made the Cowboys look silly. Like, they could not stop him at all. No matter what they tried, he just destroyed them. And I was like, oh, man, this guy's going to be on fire this year. But then there were other games where he couldn't even do anything, which was crazy. So, yeah.
Yeah. And let's face it, the other thing is the Eagles' defense was the best defense in the league this year. It wasn't close.
No, and that was the thing. I don't think Kansas City was expecting the Eagles' defense to be as dominant as they were in the Super Bowl. There's so much about zero blitzes. They didn't do any blitzes, and they still had, 7 sacks or something like that in the Super Bowl?
Six sacks.
Yeah, so it was crazy. I know they were saying, if we can stop Saquon, we'll be fine. But they were not. Freaking Mahomes was standing back there, and he looked like I was the quarterback. He looked like he was me trying to quarterback.
Yeah, that was by far the worst game that I've seen Mahomes play.
He had no clue what was happening, and it wasn't until late in the third quarter when you guys were already up 40-0 at that point, or whatever ridiculous it was, where he started doing like 15-step drop backs, like 15, yeah. And then he was able to get behind the rush and was able to get some good throws out then. But also at the same time, like, your defense was like, dude, if we want to, we can shut you down again. We're already up 40-0. We're not gonna.
Well, yeah, the last two touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, the Eagles had already put their backups in.
Right, that also made a difference as well because, he had a touchdown, 50 yards to Worthy was the last touchdown of the game, and then the other one there was a 12-yard pass, 5-yard pass. There was another oh no, that was just a run, 7 yards. Okay, but there was like 2 super long touchdowns in the second half, and you could tell, like you said, they just had Worthy had a 24-yard touchdown reception and then a 50-yard touchdown reception.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was another one a little earlier than that where it was like, okay, maybe they can come back now. Because they were going against, like you said, their second stringers. The rest of the Eagles defense was in, and he was doing 15 steps going backwards, and then was able. It was almost like Tecmo Bowl, the original Tecmo Bowl, where you just keep backing up, and then just throw the Hail Mary all the way to the end, and it's a touchdown every single time. But at that point, you guys were up by so much that it didn't even matter. They were like, cool, whatever. There was another video or a question that said, what did the Eagles do after winning the Super Bowl? Did you hear this one?
No.
Okay. So what did the Eagles do after winning the Super Bowl? They played the second half. Because they were up 24-0 in the first half. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
yeah, so the other big the big play. So there was the DeJean touchdown, then I don't know if it was. I don't think it was the next drive. I think the
So
Eagles might have gotten a field goal after that.
yeah, so there was a punt touchdown. This was the sack touchdown. Then Kansas City punted. Then the Eagles punted. Then Kansas City had an interception.
Yeah, so that was the interception. That was a Zach Ball interception where it wasn't a sack, but the pass rush,
Right.
Josh Sweat's pass rush, pushed into Mahomes as he was throwing the ball and knocked into him as he threw the ball, so that he threw it off target. And Ball made this amazing catch at like the 14-yard line.
Yep.
And then the
Eagles,
next drive, a play or two.
Yep.
Two
plays. Eagles shotgun. Jalen Hurts to Brown for 12 yards for a touchdown, and then the extra point. Then Kansas City punted again. 6 plays, 1 minute and 10 seconds, and they're punting. Every one of these plays also, 1 minute they had the ball, 4 seconds and an interception, 2 minutes and 14 seconds and a punt, 1 minute 38 seconds and a punt. Every single time, they weren't even eating up the clock. 1 minute 39 seconds, 5 plays and a punt. 5 plays in a punt, 1 minute 41 seconds. So the whole first half, that was another thing they were shown was the Eagles' time of possession was ridiculous. And it went along with what the score was. So, so then the third quarter starts and Kansas City gets the ball and they 7 plays, 3 minutes, and they punt. And then the Eagles had the ball for 6 minutes and 42 seconds, 12 plays, 74 yards, and a field goal. So even when you guys were getting field goals, it was still 6.5 minutes of clock. So still eating up the clock, not giving Kansas City a chance to even come back. And the way Kansas City plays this year, was a lot of, like Sean was saying 2 weeks ago, a lot of short dumping dives and whatever and slow, meticulous driving down the field. So the fact that they weren't able to do that, it was crazy. After the field goal, turnover on downs because they were like, look, we're down by so much. We have to just keep trying.
It was
4th and 4.
4th and 4. Isaiah Rodgers maybe was the corner that batted down the pass.
Yeah, because he tried to throw it to D. Hopkins. It says A. Maddox in parentheses. So
Vontae Maddox. Okay,
yeah.
Vontae Maddox is the one that batted it down.
Yeah.
So that next play was it's already got a nickname. The play after that's called the Dagger.
Okay.
They were up 24-0, and right after that, they're up 24-0. It's the third quarter. Everybody's thinking, all right, well, they got this lead. If this is what you got Barkley for. You use Barkley, worst case scenario, it's a 3 and out, and you pin them deep, and blah blah blah. But they went with a bomb,
46 yard,
46 yards, beautiful pass. There's a picture of Jalen Hurts standing back there waiting to unload this ball. There is not a person within 5 yards of him on any side, in front of him or either side, and he just got to step up and step right into it and throw it. It was like, wow.
It was a perfect pass. It was beautiful. I was like, oh my gosh. And the
protection, that offensive line.
Yeah, the offensive line was giving him all the time in the world. And then I'm pretty sure he did a double move. Your wide receiver,
Devontae
Smith, gave a little double move. The defender stumbled, and he had a 3-yard lead on him the whole run that he was going all the way out. And the ball
he had to slow down just a bit
to
let the guy catch up to him, but landed right in his hands.
Right in his hands, yep. And then extra point. And then finally Kansas City gets a touchdown on a 7-play, 2-minute drive. To Worthy, that was a 24-yard touchdown. Where I think that's their first touchdown of the game. I'm pretty sure.
Was okay. So that was third quarter. That was towards the end of the third quarter. There was a play earlier in that drive. That was like a 40-yard pass or something to Xavier Worthy. That was the first time with like 2 minutes left in the third quarter that they crossed midfield in that game.
Yeah, 50-yard pass. Yep, 50-yard pass to Xavier Worthy. It was the first time they were in their offensive zone, and it was the first time they had a drive that lasted longer than 1 minute and 45 seconds.
Good Lord.
It was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, and at that point, this was when they were just like, we got to score. Like, and it was funny. I was watching with my wife, and she said to me, has there ever been a Super Bowl where there's been a shutout? And I was like, I don't think so. Let me check. And she was like, oh, I was disappointed that you didn't actually know the answer to that. She loves when I just know dumb things. So the lowest scoring game for the opponent was Dallas versus Miami in Super Bowl 4 or 3, whatever the first Super Bowl they were in. The Dolphins only had 3 points. So that was the lowest scoring game, lowest score for one team. Then
But Dallas probably only had like 12 or something.
they had 24. It was 24-3. So
Okay.
it wasn't a
That's
40.
good.
It wasn't a 29-0 game, which is what it practically was when Kansas City finally scored.
No, it was 31. I believe it was 31.
31-0. Yeah. It was just, like you just got to laugh. Like this was the utter domination all the way around, which was awesome.
That was awesome for us, and that's the great part about that. There isn't a single person on earth, the biggest hater, can't say a word about this game.
No.
Like the biggest Eagle hater could if only that. Like but this, like there's nothing. You can't take this away. You can't.
No, because it's not like one play changed the difference where it was like, oh, because you got this fake call from the refs where extended your drive and you wound up scoring the game-winning touchdown on this bogus holding call when it was 4th and 4 on the defense and nobody else could see it except for this one ref. I mean, no matter where you looked, special teams, offense, defense, everything, the Eagles just dominated the whole time, and it kills me to say it, but it was amazing. It was
There's no other way to explain it.
No,
There's
there
nothing
isn't.
else you could say.
There's nothing else you could say. It was such a fabulous performance in the biggest game of the season with the most people watching. Like the Super Bowl is the second biggest eating day in America, right behind Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
Thanksgiving first, and then the Super Bowl, because it's the only major sport that we have where the game is won in one day. You know, everything else best of 7 series. So you don't know. Oh, we're winning 3-0. The Phillies could win the World Series, and then they lose. Okay, well tomorrow, and then they lose again, and it's like, okay, I can't keep having World Series parties because they got to do it one of these days,
Right.
But the Super Bowl, one game, everybody knows, boom, there it is. So yeah, it's the second biggest party day. Everybody's watching, and they just so outperformed. It was ridiculous how well they performed.
And it wasn't even like it wasn't a bad team. It wasn't like they weren't even favored in the game. Like,
no.
And you're talking about a team that had been there 2 years before, that had 3 Super Bowls in the past like 5-6 years or whatever, and were considered a juggernaut. They were Goliath, and it wasn't even close.
Was it Atlanta that lost? What was the team that had the lead and then it just kept slipping away from them? I think
that was Atlanta against New England.
Yeah. Like, and it wasn't like that either.
24-7 or something. It was something.
Yeah,
like that.
and they won. Yeah, like it wasn't like that. I mean, it was just utter domination from the winning the coin toss on. The Chiefs could not.
Speaking of that, the Chiefs did win the coin toss, and we're watching the game here, and the Eagles lose the coin toss, and we got one of our buddies who's, always negative, always complaining, always kind of
so typical Philadelphia fan, yeah.
Yeah, and they lose the coin toss, and he's like, "Oh, here we go." And we're just like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, you're like, relax.
You can't be this way. It's a coin toss.
Oh man, so yeah, back to so that's how the third quarter ends with another 2-point conversion fail. And I mean, Kelsey they didn't throw to him. He did not look good, but it wasn't really his fault. It was more the Eagles' defensive line was just making Mahomes look silly.
And DeJean actually was the one in the slot that took the responsibility of covering him.
Nice. Good for him. He's a good kid. We'll keep him. So then
Yeah.
the Eagles field goal, 11 plays, 5:43 to start the fourth quarter. 40
Another
yards.
dominant, just kind of
Yeah.
eat the clock away, get a couple points, and
Yep, get a field goal, just get that lead even bigger, make it even harder for Kansas City to do anything. Then
so at that point, I think it's what's it, 34-6 or
yeah,
was it-
because they only had 6 because they went for the 2-point and missed it. So 17, 27, and 7 is 31, right? And then another 3 after that. So yeah, so 34-6 at that point in time. And then Kansas City gets the ball back and they punt. Or no, let me see. Hold on. Too far. Field goal, 11 plays, 5:43. Fumble. 2 plays and a fumble. Penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is sacked, negative 10 yards, and then he fumbles it in the sack, and then touched at Kansas City 19.
That one I can't believe that maybe because the ball was out, I can't believe that there wasn't a penalty on that, man. He got clobbered.
He did get clobbered, yeah, and they showed it later. It was a huge face mask. He came right through the middle and hit him right in the face mask, but I think because the ball was out right before it, and nobody saw it for some reason. So then the Eagles, 4 plays, 1 minute and 41 seconds. They get another field goal. Just keep tacking on. Then Kansas City, 16-play drive, 5 minutes to get a touchdown. So when they need to go big and they need to score quickly, like you're down 36-6 at that point, they're just still doing. They're like, okay, let's see what we can do, and then
I think it was for whatever reason. I think it was 40. 6 because I had or something, I forget what it was, but it was or whatever it was, I had the block pool
okay
at that point right before Kansas City scored that, and I'm thinking all the Eagles need to do, if they could stop them this one drive,
right,
they'll get the ball back and
and just wear out the clock.
I was splitting like a $1,300 prize, so it was a decent prize.
Yeah,
and I was like, gotta get a stop, but they couldn't get it done.
They couldn't get it done. So then the Chiefs get the touchdown very, very late in the game to Hawkins for a 7-yard short pass. 2-point conversion attempt. Attempt succeeds. There's a penalty, illegal use of the hands, 5 yards enforced between downs. Then the Eagles get the ball back, 5 plays, 58 seconds, turnover on downs. Then the Chiefs get that touchdown on an 8-second drive. Deep middle to Worthy for 50 yards. At this point in time, it didn't even matter.
Kenny Pickett was in that drive where they turned it over on downs.
Okay. He was the quarterback at that point. Jalen Hurts was done. I'm pretty sure at that point in time, your coach had yellow Gatorade poured all over him.
Yes, the yellow Gatorade.
And then 50-yard touchdown at the very end to Worthy, and 2-point conversion attempt is complete, so they wind up at the very end getting 8 more points to make it look on paper like the Chiefs were kind of in the game 22-40, but in reality there was nothing there. There was no way they were anywhere close to being with the Eagles the entire game. So it was utter domination. I will say that. I am very disappointed. I wanted to rub it in your face that you didn't win another Super Bowl. But like I said on Corner Pub Sports, you now doubled your Super Bowl totals, which is good. But even if you double your Super Bowl totals again, you will still have less Super Bowls than the Cowboys. That's all I have to say.
But this century.
But this century.
But this
century. I hope I can see another Super Bowl in the Cowboys before I die. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But yeah, this century, the Cowboys have not been there. But that's not my argument. I don't care. Cowboys are going to be there next year. That's my argument. Always next year.
Like a joke that I heard How many Cowboys does it take to change a light bulb?
How many Cowboys does it take to change a light bulb?
And they never change it. They just look at the old one and think about how great it was.
And that is true. That is true. That is very true. All right, well, I got nothing else. We've been doing this for an hour now. The Eagles dominated. It was a great season for the Eagles. It's a great season for you. This was the worst idea I've ever had.
Only one team sucks.
Only one team
We
sucks.
both agree one team. We both agree your team sucks.
Yeah, I think we both agree to that this year. Your team does not, because you are the Super Bowl champion. So congratulations to that. And I'm done. I'm leaving. And 2 weeks from now, we can talk about the draft. And Kansas City is done. They will not be in the Super Bowl again, says Jay. So I was hoping for the Bills to make it to the Super Bowl, but Kansas City made the Bills look silly, and then the Eagles made Kansas City look silly. So
Yeah, I mean, is there any doubt in your mind that if anybody else, if the Bills, Baltimore, do you think it would have mattered?
not the way the Eagles played this game. No, I don't think it mattered at all. I don't think Buffalo's offensive line would have been able to stop the Eagles' defensive line either. The way they played in the Super Bowl. And I don't think anybody else would have been able to stop Saquon the way they did. And if it was somebody else, Saquon would have had 200 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. So,
Yep.
If the Chiefs are able to shut down Saquon, so that then the Eagles were like, okay, well, you can shut him down, but we're going to let Jalen be Jalen. And Jalen was very accurate. He didn't get frazzled at all. So, which is great because that's what I see with Dax in big games. He gets frazzled and starts making bad plays. And that's where it's frustrating for me because in games that they're supposed to win, the Cowboys win by 50. Not this year, but last year. The games that they were supposed to win, the Cowboys, 50 is an exaggeration, but, they would win by 15, 20 in the games they're supposed to win. When it's a tight game, 2 seasons ago, if you looked at their record, in a tight game, they lost all the tight games. They won all the games they were supposed to win, but anytime it was tight, they lost those games. And same thing happened in the playoffs when they got to, was it 49ers or Rams? One of them.
Green Bay.
Green Bay made them look silly. And that's the problem. Jalen did not look silly the entire season. By
the way, shout out to Saquon since you brought him up. Playoffs and regular season combined, most rushing yards and most total combined yards of any player in history.
That's awesome. That's good. He's a good kid. Look, he went to Penn State. I like him. It was funny. Did you see? Is it Brandon Graham? His daughters interviewed like a bunch of the players. They had a little YouTube podcast show. It was really cute. It was his daughter and his son, and he brought in a bunch of players, and Saquon was one of them. And I think she asked him something like, who do you like playing for better, the Giants or the Eagles or something like that? And he was like, come on, man. He was like, I enjoyed my time at both of them, and the Eagles, whatever. So it was pretty funny. But yeah. So all right, that's it. I gotta go. This is too much. I can't keep saying the Eagles are good over and over again. My head's going to explode. Jay, thank you for stopping in. Sean, thank you for stopping in. Mike's dropping more confetti on my head. Stop it. Congratulations, whatever. You guys win. Blah, blah, blah. So go ahead. You can say it. I'll let you say it. That my team sucks.
Your team sucks. Eagles. Eagles. Super Bowl champions. That's it. That's all I got.